Sind wir live? Wir sind live, aber kein.
Ist da wer?
Wo sind wir live?
Ja. Doch.
Wo denn?
Weiß ich nicht.
Hallo? Wir können euch nicht sehen. Könnt ihr uns sehen? So. Ah, jetzt.
Aha.
Huh.
Nur ein ganz bisschen Delay.
Ja, ich glaube, wir haben ein ziemliches Delay. Na, mit ihr Lieben.
Und das ganz ohne Jan.
Oh Gott, der war ja hervorragend gut.
Na?
So, ich glaube, wir gehen heute mal ein bisschen fix durch.
Genau.
In circa 15 Minuten wird Israel zu uns stoßen von Arcane Design. Schön, dass ihr da seid. Dann
Fangen wir an mit.
wir zeigen direkt, wir steigen direkt ein. Also wir haben diese Woche, bevor wir es vergessen, nächste Woche, ihr Lieben, sind wir leider nicht online. Nächste Woche skippen wir einmal den Live Launch Report, weil ich nämlich auf der Jagd und Hund in Dortmund am Aufbauen bin. Und die Woche drauf, dann geben wir uns aber, da sind wir da. Ich möchte euch zeigen, wir fangen mal an, wir haben aus Italien ein paar Neuigkeiten. Haben wir hier wieder. Das ist Viper Belone, Jesper Voxnies Design. Und Fat Carbons Griffschalen.
Genau. Gibt es in 4 Versionen. Habe jetzt hier mal 2. Es gibt es in grün, in rot, in gold und in blau.
Liegt bei 239 € mit M390 Stahl. Sehr schlankes Design, elegantes Design. Hat auch so ein bisschen was von den italienischen traditionellen Messern, dessen Name mir gerade entfallen ist.
Wurstmesser.
Wurstmesser, genau. Das war der Name, den ich gesucht habe. So
Das dachte ich
typisch,
mir.
typisch italienisch.
Ein richtig schönes italienisches Wurstmesser ist das. Kannst du deine italienische Chorizo mitschneiden?
Wurstmesser. Wie der Italiener so sagt.
Wurscht. Genau, Clip ist umsetzbar. Ja. Liner, Framelock.
Ach ja, ich weiß, was du meinst, ja. Ist
Also
eigentlich ein Framelock.
Nested Framelock trifft es, glaube ich, am ehesten.
Von der Stabilität her wie ein Framelock.
Genau.
Von der Griffigkeit her wie ein Linerlock.
Ja.
Ja.
Genau.
So, also Felix, es kam aus dem Chat keine negative Meldung. Also ist Wurstmesser das richtige Wort dafür?
Ja, würde ich auch sagen. Alle Stimmen schweigen zu. Ja.
Ja. Felix, eins seiner Lieblingsmesser?
Genau. Military 2 mit Compression Lock geht in die nächste Runde. Jetzt in Dark Blue, das heißt CPM S110V.
Genau, für den Fall, dass du nicht Spider-Co studiert hast wie Felix. Das Military gibt es ja schon, ich glaube, seit 1980.
Ja, also das zweite oder dritte große Design, was halt Spider-Co groß gemacht hat. Ne? Also
Und
Police war so das erste, würde ich sagen. Und dann
Police war vorher, okay.
Dann ging es direkt los mit dem Military und dann Paramilitary 2. Ja.
Ja, das Military ist schon, ihr seht, es ist schon ein Riesen-Oschi, 24 cm Gesamtlänge. Und das Neue, das ist jetzt natürlich, dass das Military 2 auch den Compression Lock hat, den wir so gern haben. Kostet
265 €.
Jawohl. Made in USA.
Ja. Mit ganz viel Griff.
Genau.
Sehr cool.
Was ist denn noch Made in USA?
Noch Made in USA, also
ich zappel hier mal ein
nicht
bisschen
noch.
an. Geht's euch gut eigentlich? Wir sind ja so direkt eingestiegen, das war irgendwie so ohne...
Ja, es wird ja richtig...
Ich weiß immer nicht, genau.
Wir peitschen hier durch die Messer durch.
Ja, weil wir wollen so viel
next,
Zeit wie möglich für Israel gleich haben. Oh, das mag ich auch sehr gerne.
Ja, das ist schön. Jetzt haben wir wieder Fettfinger drauf gemacht.
Also, Tactile Knife.
Tactile Knife.
Richard Rogers Design.
Genau.
Das ist das Maverick. Maverick heißt doch auch der von Tom Cruise.
Der von Tom Cruise, genau. Top Gun.
Coltello Salsiccia. Also Wurstmesser.
Wurstmesser.
Genau.
Ja.
Ja, Maverick. Oh, ja, euch geht's gut, wenn ihr Messer schauen könnt. Das ist auch schön. Genau, beim Maverick ist das, ich würde sagen, das ist das dritte Taschenmesser, welches Tactile Knife produziert hat. Die hatten tatsächlich anfangs Qualitätsprobleme. Und wir haben tatsächlich aus diesem Maverick Run, den ihr hier seht, also die Messer, die wir online haben, die haben wir extrem geprüft und darauf geachtet, dass auch wirklich alles passt. Und haben tatsächlich auch sehr viele Messer wieder zurückgeschickt davon. Aber die Messer, die wir haben, die sind auf jeden Fall von uns doppelt geprüft.
Jo, wir haben sie ausgedünnt. Aber die sind jetzt echt super. Ist schwarzes Mikata, Magna Cut, Stahl, Crossbar Lock, läuft butterweich, liegt bei 277
Cool.
Euro.
Ich habe gerade so ein Piepen gehört, ich glaube.
Ich glaub,
Wir haben Besuch, wir können rüber zu Israel gehen gleich. Auf die Jagd und Hund kann jeder rein. Das ist eine öffentliche Messe, ja. Ja. Ich glaube, die kostet, nagel mich nicht fest, aber 20 Euro Eintritt, aber es gibt keine geschlossenen Bereiche. Die ist auch die größte Jagdmesse. So, ihr Lieben. Ich habe euch meinen Kopf gezeigt. Wir zeigen euch jetzt gleich mal die Plexen.
Die Plexen.
Und skippen jetzt direkt ins Englische, ne? Das heißt, weil dann haben wir noch so viel Zeit mit Israel. Ich glaube, die brauchen wir. Habe ich so das Gefühl. Obwohl, ich habe gehört, Viertel nach. So. Gut. Also, ich fange in Deutsch an und gehe gleich ins Englische rüber. Felix, ich glaube, du möchtest zeigen. Ne? Das Plexus geht bei uns online am Mittwoch um 18 Uhr. Ihr habt 12 verschiedene Versionen und wir zeigen euch die jetzt und skippen direkt ins Englische rein. Glaube ich. Ich glaube, wir machen erst noch mal einmal rüber, einmal unsere Köpfe.
Ja.
Hello!
How's it going? Sorry, I was drinking coffee midway.
How are you?
I'm very good. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. It means a lot. So I really appreciate the invite, and I'm happy to be here.
You're very welcome.
So we're just saying that we are dropping your Plexus at Wednesday.
Oh, awesome.
And we just want to show not all, but kind of explaining the versions, the finishes.
Yeah.
And maybe you can help us.
For sure. So it comes in 3 different kind of color combos. So the first one that you have right there is going to be the bronze or goldish accents. Then we're also offering a purple. So I have a couple with me right here too. We're offering a purple accent. And the purple is a really, really beautiful hue. It has a really cool hue to it, a really great coloration. It's a lot darker and more richer than it appears in video. And this one's definitely one of my personal favorites, this color. And then it's also coming in this beautiful blue. And all these parts that you see right here are full titanium. And they're all screwed in from the inside, which basically gets rid of all of the screw holes to give it a cleaner kind of profile. And so those are the different colorations that the knife comes in primarily. But each knife is going to come in either all black, an all stonewashed, satin with gray handle, and satin with black handle, like this one right here. Yeah. It's so interesting. The design part is really fun and enjoyable and easy for me. It comes easy, but the hardest part for me is choosing what colors or finishes or materials to actually use. I rack my brain all the time trying to figure out, oh, what color should this one be? Or does it go with the design really well? Or what materials would go with the design really well? So it might seem like a lot of options, like 12 options in total, but it's because I couldn't pick. They all looked so good. So yeah, those are the different colorations. And you guys are going to be receiving all of the versions, correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
awesome.
Yes, because it's difficult for us to choose as well.
Yeah. Well, I oftentimes like to design in a color scheme and a color palette with each knife. So my first knife, hold on one second. My first knife, for example, was the Necronaut, which is this Tonto version. This came out a number of years ago. And this blade and shape and profile, I really love the color red. And so I decided that I'm going to do red on as the main choice for this knife. And I understand a lot of people either don't like red or they love red, or that's with every single color. So it's hard to choose which finish to go with, because not everybody out there likes every single color. So with this run especially, we wanted to make sure that there were 3 really good primary color options so that people could kind of make a choice for themselves. But yeah, it's the toughest part for me.
Got it. So I just there came some questions.
Yeah.
Whom is the manufacturer?
Yeah, so I utilize both Bestech and Riot. I utilize them based off of the schedules and which one has certain materials at the same time. So the Plexus in particular is done by Bestech. And I've been working with them for about 3 years, and they've done a great job with all of my designs thus far. As far as manufacturing is concerned, this knife is bar none the best that I've seen from both of my manufacturers. I think it helps with the fact of the construction is really solid. The knife is a little more robust in the handle. It's a little bit thicker here, which makes a great grip. But the blade, because it is 4 millimeters in thickness and there's a lot of it, the action is buttery smooth. It closes and drops really well. The lockup is so solid and tight. So Bestech is a manufacturer of this one, and I'm so proud that they were able to do the type of quality that obviously I come to expect when it comes to my knife designs. So yeah, great question.
So the reason for choosing Bestech, is this because of MagnaCut? It was my idea, because you choose MagnaCut, and I haven't seen a Riot knife with MagnaCut.
That was one of the components. There's a number of different components that I go and based off of which design goes with which manufacturer. The Bestech had done this knife previously a number of maybe a year and a couple of months ago. And that run sold out immediately. And so that's why we're doing this second run. But they did such a great job with the first one. It didn't make sense to necessarily switch to another manufacturer, since they had basically all of the notes that I had given in order to execute this knife really well. MagnaCut was just a nice little addition. I really love MagnaCut. It's a new steel for the last year or so. And it's really hot and popular right now. And it was just so fortunate that Bestech had the inventory of MagnaCut so that we could utilize it in a brand new knife run for the Plexus. I think it pairs really well with the design as well. So.
So what was the idea of the name for Plexus?
Yeah, dude, that's a great question. The Plexus it's a collaboration with Elijah Isham, and I'm sure we'll talk about more about that. But Elijah and I, a Plexus basically means a connection network, like a lot of, like, think of the internet or whatever the case is. It's a complex network that is combined together. Elijah and I are both designers. Elijah's a phenomenal designer. In fact, I have two of his knives in my own personal collection. I have a Zeta right here, which is one of my favorite knives of all time. And I really, really love this knife. Yeah, exactly. I saw that one too. I think we have the same version too.
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. And then I have another one in here, but it was the idea of two different designers with two unique design languages. Obviously, Elijah's just eons and years ahead of its time, but kind of two designers coming together to create a network and to kind of create a cohesive, combined connection in one design. Elijah and I spent about a year and a half designing this knife. We lived near each other, about 2 hours away. And so we met up. We probably spent 40 to 50 hours just sitting next to one another designing this knife. So every single line and all the intricacies of the blades and the primary bevels right here, the hole cutout. And then if you kind of notice, the line of the grind goes down and matches the line of the pivot shield right here. This line on the blade matches the line that eventually connects to this top shield right here. Every single chamfer, every single line was meticulously planned. We would have so many times where we sat down and said, no, this line needs to be a millimeter this direction. And I'd say, no, the line needs to be a millimeter this direction. So I think when you have two designers that are so picky, I think is the right word. It takes a long time to nail something that is 100% one designer's language and 100% the other designer's language. And so the Plexus just made sense. It was a connectivity of two different ideas kind of compressed into one. And it sounds cool. I thought Plexus sounded cool. So.
Yeah, that too, definitely.
If you you just said you were sitting next to each other and working on a Plexus design, did you draw it manually with a pencil, or was it directly on Fusion? Or
it's initially I had a design. So I first met Elijah probably back in 2017 or 18.
Oh yeah.
And I showed him one of my first designs. It was this one. I had a prototype, a plastic prototype that I was walking around a knife show, and I had known of Elijah. I was definitely a knife enthusiast, knew who he was, wasn't in the knife industry, didn't have my own company. I didn't have anything, but I had an idea for a knife, and we both connected with one another. He liked my first design, and he said, maybe we can collaborate one day. And so I sent an initial 3 initial drawings, and he was like, oh, I really like the third drawing. And so he decided to I had it all in Fusion. I sent him 2D pictures so that he could kind of move and tweak in a different program. He used a different program than I did. And then eventually it made more sense because we lived so close to one another. The back and forth of trying to make changes and get the design to where we wanted just took too long via email. So I invited him up to my place, and then I would go down to his place. And so it made more sense to kind of sit side by side and really hammer out the design. It was a really unique process. I have done a number of collaborations now, and those are usually you send the design, they send their idea of the design, and then I slowly but surely build it in Fusion. But this one was very unique in the sense that if I had any concerns or issues, he was right next to me, vice versa. And it worked into a really a really cohesive experience. It's definitely one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. And especially now that Elijah's no longer with us, it means a lot more to me than it did at the time. At the time, it was nice, but it was frustrating because, again, two designers having two ideas that we're trying to push together is so worth it. So, yeah.
Yeah. So
Now, do you guys, I'd love to know, do you guys carry Elijah Isham designs? Obviously you have one with you. Is that something that you keep in the stores?
yes.
Yes,
Nice.
we got the best tag reticulum.
Okay.
But I think, yeah, beside your designs, that's it. From
Is that your personal Zeta then?
Yeah, that's mine.
Yeah.
I'm actually quite a little bit of a fanboy of his design. So
Okay, cool. That's
think
awesome.
I got all designs he made from Knife.
Yeah. I have the Arrakis.
Oh, this one is.
Yeah, got that too.
I have the Arrakis. I'm sure. I want the big brother of this one, the Eschaton.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to hunt one
one?
down. Yeah, that's the one. What blade is that one? Is that the Stonewashed or? Yeah, dude.
Stonewash, yeah. Stonewash.
That looks awesome, man. Yeah, I love that one. Love that one.
Yes, we used to had all his V and Civivi designs.
Mm-hmm.
And actual Felix was a customer from us a couple of years ago, and I think the Zeta.
The Zeta was, I think it was my second second buy here as a customer.
Well, you know what's crazy? This knife, a customer gave this to me, which is insane. So I just started Arcane Design, and like I said, I was a collector too before this, and I just saw this knife on a friend that I made on Instagram, and I was like, man, I love that knife. You know, they're so hard to find now because they were a limited run, so they're virtually non-existent now. And I just told him, like, man, that's a really cool piece. And then out of nowhere, a week later, I found it in my mailbox, and he gave it to me as a gift. So this one's that never happens. Like that literally has never happened. So it's a really, really fortunate one. Yeah. So it's fun.
Was there any point on the way to the Plexus where do you thought about to stop us because to stop everything because of Elijah's death, or is it?
Yeah, that's a great question. It was really difficult, obviously, hearing for his death because I lost a friend, and then when I first heard that he passed away. One of his friends, Jeremiah, called me and just let me know that he had passed away. And obviously that entire day, I was just so sad and was mourning. And then later on throughout the day, I realized, oh man, we have these knives that are already in production, which is, So Elijah actually never got to handle the prototypes. They were in his mailbox when he died. Which is just unfortunate, but obviously like we sent designs back and forth and he was so excited to actually get them in hand. But unfortunately, all of the production was already started when we first did the run. I wanted to connect with his family because obviously I didn't want to take advantage of his name and make sure that him or his family wasn't compensated, even though he had already passed. So I've connected with his dad on multiple occasions. And so all of basically his proceeds or his percentage of our collaboration together that was originally going to him is now going to his family. I, again, want to stay completely away from the idea that I'm taking advantage of a design that we both 100% invested in. And so it's good to know that working with Elijah's dad and his family, that they are also being our beneficiaries of this project. When the first Plexus run sold out, again, it sold out almost immediately. I was trying to figure out how to move forward. I didn't want the knife to just completely be over because so many people wanted the knife but weren't able to get it at the drop. And so when I connected with Elijah's family, they were really adamant about wanting Elijah's legacy to continue forward. And so they were excited and ecstatic that there was enough demand to try to do another run. And this whole process takes a long time. So we weren't able to sell, a month later immediately, like obviously production time. And I have other projects that I'm working on. And so the soonest that we were able to drop this knife again was basically last week here in the United States. We dropped them last week. So I'm in constant contact with their family, making sure that they are beneficiaries of Elijah's percentage of this project. But at the end of the day, the percentages don't necessarily matter. The money doesn't matter. The fact that I get to be a part of keeping Elijah's designs and legacies moving forward is way more important to me than anything else on this. He truly was a really, really great friend. So I'm so glad I'm working with his family on that.
It's cool. And there's also both of your logos are here. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah. It's hard to see. I mean, this is the reason why it's kind of hard to see is almost purposeful in the sense that we wanted the design to be very clean. Yeah. So if you notice, there's no billboarding, there's no logos on the blades, there's no logos anywhere, except if you take a look, like you said, the backside, both of our logos are on there, very small. On the blade, you can see that it is magna cut and it's written on the blade, but it's only visible when it's partially opened. Yeah. The word magna cut. That. The word magna cut disappears when it's closed and it disappears when it's opened. So that's one of my pet peeves when it comes to knives. I really don't like when they have serial numbers and logos that are almost half the size of the knife. And you're like, nobody wants to read these numbers. Nobody knows what this is for. And they just kind of take away from it. And especially a design that's so aesthetically driven, we wanted to make sure that the knife was as clean as possible.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Can you remember you went this way from a knife collector to a knife designer, but do you remember your first knife?
Oh, I absolutely do. My first knife was a Kershaw Leek. I've told this story a number of times, but I'm so happy to tell it again. My first knife was a Kershaw Leek. And before this, I wasn't really into knives. I didn't really know anything about them. But my wife bought me a Kershaw Leek. And I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. I really liked it. And when she told me she had paid $60 for it, my mind exploded. I was like, I'm going to pass this knife to my great grandkids because it's that expensive, like I had no clue that knives could be more expensive or that there was a particular market to it. So I started using the knife and it got dull relatively quickly because, it's a less expensive, more budget friendly knife. And so I was sitting there thinking like, what is this made out of? Like, is all steel the same? And so I went on YouTube and I found YouTube reviewers. I found Nick Shabazz and I found a number of other YouTube reviewers that were talking about knives and showing that there were almost a different knife for every person, that if you liked certain designs or aesthetics that, like you could have that. And then I found custom knife makers and I found that you could merge I guess I'd never seen that art and utility could merge together. And that was like a really cool convergence, you know? I'm a huge fan of science fiction and horror films and things like that. And so a lot of like aesthetic, ethereal ideas are very cool, but they never really merge into the pragmatic like a tool. And so when I saw that knife design was about the conversion of utility with aesthetic, I was sold. I was like, this is the coolest conversion of art and again, utility that I'd ever seen. And so, like everybody else, I went onto a knife website, like probably Knife Lounge, and I looked up like blade shape, and I looked up, you know, price point and materials to try to see if I could find one that really spoke to me. And it took me like after searching for a really long time, I couldn't find anything that really spoke to me and my aesthetic. And so I sat like there thinking, you know, how hard would it be to actually design something myself? And it's very difficult, but I was so excited about the idea of doing so that I basically designed my first knife off of that. And now we're here with a number of knives in our inventory, and it's really fun. But yeah, the Kershaw leak was the first one that really spoke to me. So yeah. Do you guys have Kershaws at the store or no?
No. We used to have zero tolerance, but
Okay.
not Kershaw yet.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. That's exciting. Well, yeah, that was the Kershaw was the knife that started it all. I haven't bought a Kershaw in a long time, but they're still great knives. So yeah.
Yeah.
They're getting better and better, yeah.
Dude, they really are. Their automatic series is really impressive.
Yeah, it's crazy. All the new OTF knives they're making looking great.
Yeah. Well, actually, speaking of one of them, that I have that's an OTF is this knife, which is a more of a futuristic one as well.
Oh, yeah.
This is a Kershaw Launch 13.
Nice.
Yeah, and like we were kind of talking about previously before this, talking about my personal collection. It's like this one is, you know, a relatively inexpensive compared to what else I have in my case, but it's such a good knife. And again, I buy things based off of the aesthetic initially, and like obviously the name of the company. And so I tend to lean more towards futuristic, more stylized kinds of knives, but obviously made by manufacturers or custom makers that have good reputations, and I know the quality is there. And so especially with everything that I do, I understand that like my knives have a particular aesthetic and a particular futurism to them, but I'm not going to come out with anything that actually isn't usable or doesn't work. There has to be the two convergence of both of those things. So
I have the first thing I want to say is it sounds so easily when you say you were looking for some knives and eventually you designed them for yourself. But it's a lot more. You need to.
yeah.
I mean, were you already trained in a designing program, Fusion, or is it just?
No, I was. I studied music before this, and I worked in something in the United States called human resources. I don't know what they have, but yeah. Human resources for a large company in Seattle for a long time, and I wasn't trained in geometry or design language or Fusion or anything like that. I started drawing initially a design that I had in my head, and I had looked up a lot of YouTube videos and heard that Fusion was kind of the best way to move forward as far as designing a knife in a CAD so that you could switch it and convert it easily into actual manufacturing. And I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but when I first downloaded Fusion to work on it, I sat down for what I thought was 30 minutes to put in my design. And then I look at the clock and 14 hours had just gone by, just vanished, just literally vanished. And I was just so surprised that something could capture my attention so tightly that time just went out the window. I had only experienced that when I was playing music. When I was writing music, like, because you're so excited with what you're doing, time just is irrelevant. It disappears. And I had never experienced that before, except in music. And so when I realized that there was such a spark of excitement and learning something new, I knew I had to wholly be devoted to that process. And so, like I said, I didn't know anything about Fusion, but I was so motivated to learn that I was able to pick up enough of the skills necessary to actually start designing. But it took a long time. It's pretty difficult to pick up. It's somewhat intuitive, but not really. So you're right. I did kind of brush over just saying, oh yeah, I couldn't find a knife I liked, so I made one myself. Like the amount of time from I couldn't find a knife to I'll make one myself was a great number of months, almost to a year, that I just was looking up YouTube videos on how Fusion works. If I was stuck on a problem and couldn't figure out how to make the right curve on a certain area, I would read forums to try to learn how to do that. So it took a long time, but it was so worth it. Yeah. And now I get to do this as a full-time occupation. So it was definitely worth the investment.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So there was just a little question I was asking myself too. As you are into music and sounds, was there something like sound design in your mind when you got the prototypes for example, the flippers and the frame lock, how it sounds?
Oh, interesting. What I found, I was talking with somebody who was wanting to make a knife company based off of the acoustics of a knife,
Yeah.
which is a very cool idea. What I have come to find is that you can't replicate acoustics when you change a knife design. So the acoustics of a knife depend wholly on the thinness of the grind, how thick the blade is,
Yeah.
where the pivot is in relation to the knife, the materials that you use. There's so many different factors that you can't necessarily, like this knife has a certain acoustic. But if I changed one thing about this, if I changed it to a drop point blade and made the handle thinner, it would sound so different. And so acoustics is like one that it's just so, if a knife has great acoustics, that's because the convergence of the design and the materials make that noise. And if you try to replicate that in a larger knife or a smaller knife or a thicker knife or anything like that, it changes wholeheartedly.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. When it comes to design, like I said, science fiction, horror films, things like that is what I really tend to lean in towards. But I do have a playlist of music that I absolutely do listen to. It's on my Instagram. If anyone wants to go on my Instagram, in my my link in my bio, you scroll down and I have a Spotify playlist of kind of the music that I listen to. It's a lot of dark synth clubbing music, a lot of European music as well in that realm. It's definitely more cyberpunk. I don't know if you're familiar with what cyberpunk is, but it's just type of a genre of like futurism that's a little more synth and bass and things like that. And so I know a lot of people don't even care about those kinds of small details and stuff. But it definitely helps me be in the right mindset to design for the future. I'm not trying to design knives for right now. I'm trying to design a knife so that 200, 300, 400 years from now, if somebody finds that knife in the ground, dug up for some reason, they would think it was made a week ago. I'm trying to have more of a forward view and perspective on that. So finding anything that gives me that kind of creativity is what I'm trying to do.
Sweet. So if you are like into movie stuff too, and you're more or less, getting impressions from knives or from the movies for the knives, for example, like the creature you made.
Yeah, exactly.
Was there a special movie or a series you were thinking about when you made your challenge coins? Like I was thinking maybe Stargate.
Sure. Yeah. Let me see. I think I have, one of my challenge coins, dude. Stargate. I grew up. Yeah, there you go. I grew up watching Stargate. So that was probably definitely in there.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times when I think of my company, like the first knife that I designed is called the Necronaut. It's this one that I showed you. And Necronaut just basically means dead astronaut. And so, like I said, when I design a certain knife, I have an idea of what I want it to be. And so with this knife, I said, if you're ever lost in space, it's the best knife to get you home. And so it's very like lost in space, astronauts kind of like needing to fight his way back home. And so that was just a fun idea that was bouncing in my head. And so I was like, all right, let's design a knife that I think would be useful in that scenario. And I just loved that aspect. And so like, if you can see right here, this is one of my logos, is a dead astronaut. And so when I was thinking about designing this coin, I wanted something that encapsulated that space survival, that if you're lost in space, you can get home. And so the challenge coin on one side says Arcane Design, and on the other side, it says survive space. Definitely Stargate kind of gives away that view because of the metallic casing. But it's just a really cool, like visual reminder. A lot of people carry challenge coins because it means something to them in particular. A lot of them just like it because they look cool. But yeah, it's kind of that exploration, the spirit of exploration, the spirit of survival is kind of encapsulated in this to help you remind yourself of that. So, but yeah, I know you guys are going to be dropping these as well. Are you going to be dropping them on Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you got all of the colors.
Yeah.
And this is zirconium at the outside, isn't it?
Yeah, it's zirconium on the outside, and then the inside is 3D printed resin. The amount of detail, when you take a look at this, I don't know if you can kind of see it, but there you go, something like that. The amount of detail of this astronaut kind of floating in this nebulous cloud is really, you have to like kind of bring it to your face in order to see the amount of details there are. But every single micromillimeter of this coin was specifically designed and texturized in order to kind of give that view. And so the 3D printed resin on the inside is really, really remarkable stuff, and it gives a really cool translucent, transparent kind of view. It's a pretty unique coin or challenge coin. I haven't seen many coins like this, and so I was excited to kind of put this one together. The person that I connect with to make this coin is named Postmortem Plastics. He does all the 3D resin. He's on Instagram as well. Postmortem Plastics makes really cool beads and a lot of things like that. And so, but he did a phenomenal job when it comes to the inset acrylic resin of the coin. So, no, this is a great question for you guys. I'm sure your customer base knows or even wants to know. Aside from the knife, what do you guys carry in your everyday carry?
So me, for example, I have always a primer.
Nice.
Right now, your primer.
Right. Yeah, the space bar.
And yeah,
Everybody.
got a pen.
Nice. Who's the pen from?
Chavez.
Oh yeah, the skull, dude. Those are such great pens.
It is. Yeah, and actually that's it. Got a ton of knives, and I got a warrior coin too.
Yeah, Felix has big pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. He pulled out like 3 knives already.
Yeah.
Nice,
Got,
dude. Yeah.
got a sterling silver Skyrim coin. So if you're into gaming, this might seem familiar.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's beautiful, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, and like I said, a ton of knives. Maybe we can see them later.
Right. And Maxi, how about you?
I'm kind of useless without my pocket. I loved without my notebook.
Yeah. Now,
And,
do you carry that for work purposes? Do you find that professionally it's really useful to have that? Or when you have like creative ideas or reminders, or like what do you use it for?
So I'm not creative at all.
Oh no, that's not true.
But I love to make lists, to-do lists. I would love to list everything in my life. Movies I have watched, books, but I use it for to-do lists, things I want to do, to not to forget. Or
Gosh, that's so smart. Yeah, I need one of those for sure. I was talking recently to a guy who does videography, and he said the number one thing he carries is like a thin OneNote just book like that, because whenever he has ideas for photo shoots or things that he wants to do or things he wants to talk about on social media, he writes it down. So I definitely have to add one of those. Is there a particular brand or company that you like carrying?
no, I used to have the small, the flip note, but
Yeah.
I love the hardbacks even more. This is, but I don't prefer a special brand. But I'm love, even with books I read, it's hard copies are
Always,
my
huh?
favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. Very cool.
I just want to see. Yeah, there is. Martin says different challenge coins and maritime designs. Awesome. And fixed folder pen, primer, and Hank.
Yeah,
dude, absolutely. Man, I don't know if I have any Hanks here.
Keys, torch, mobile phone. Yeah, mobile phone or wallet, of course.
We came out with.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we came out with a number of Hanks, because a lot of times Hanks are, I don't know if you know, like they're the size of my body. They're huge. And I'm like, dude, I can't carry this, And so we wanted, they're just massive. And so I found this great company also on Instagram called Awesome Hanks to collaborate and do a mini Hank. So this is virtually the size of the pocket knife. And so it's a really nice pocketable one. It comes with either a lanyard, or he does like a leather kind of one. But I often carry Hank, and I never thought I would. But sometimes I wear glasses, and I'm like, dude, if you have glasses, you have to have one of these things with you, because they get smudged all the time.
They do.
Yeah, I always have a Hank in my laptop, my notebook, between the
screen.
The screen.
Oh yeah. Dude, that's smart. But yeah, I mean, your Hank is probably the size of a computer, like two.
No, it's just a small one because you
don't. Okay, all right.
It's a big small one.
And I have a small computer.
Okay, cool. That's awesome.
Now, Israel, have you ever thought about designing a pen? Because I think it's a pretty useful thing in space.
You know what? I have a number of projects that I'm really excited to design and actually have prototypes. So in 2024, you'll see. Okay, I actually haven't shown anybody this, but I'll show you guys just.
Whoa!
So I designed. I don't have the one that I want to show you, but I have recently designed a wallet, and it's a full aluminum wallet. I wish I had my wallet that actually has the cards in here, but all the cards fit in this slot, and you utilize this to move up and down the cards. It's so useful, and I just got the prototypes for this. So I'm in the midst of designing a lot of things for everyday care, like this is super light, which is really, really cool because I love wallets, and usually they're always either they're leather, or they're not very well made, or they're just a piece of metal. And so again, if I design something, I want to design something that looks like a wallet from the future. Like it looks and functions perfectly, but looks and has an aesthetic that takes you far away from where you currently are, that you're not just,
It's for your
in Germany.
multipath.
Yeah, exactly. You're in space. You're not in Germany. You're in space 400 years from now. That's what I'm looking for. But a pen is something that I definitely do want to design, but I have a lot more everyday carry tools and fidgets and things like that I'm really excited to bring forward. So yeah, when I have some of this stuff, I'll have to make sure that it's at the Knife Lounge for sure.
Nice.
Awesome. How nice or how great would it be to see some of your easy stuff in a science fiction movie?
That would be the dream. If you know anybody in Hollywood, you let me know, because I need to put them in. I need to put it in the hands of some powerful people. No, it would be super cool. I know there's a couple of. It's always so fun as knife people when you watch a TV show or a movie, and out of nowhere you see a knife that you recognize, and you're like, "That's a spider coat," or "That's that." What movie was I watching? I was watching some military movie, and out of nowhere I saw a Microtech SOCOM Bravo, and I was like, dude, that is so cool. And obviously like they didn't call it SOCOM Bravo, they didn't say anything, they just showed it. But it would be very cool to actually have a piece chosen, because that means that not only does it fit the character that they're in the movie, but it fits the world that they're building. And so that would definitely be a dream come true. But again, like I said, if you guys know anybody in Hollywood, you let me know, okay?
Of course, we know a lot, guys.
Yeah, it's very close to Germany, so I'm sure you know.
It is, of course.
Do you have a favorite movie? Is this?
Oh man, I hate this question, but I also love this question.
Yeah, I know, because there is a lot, and it's
yeah, there is. Have you ever seen the movie The Thing? It's a 1980s movie, and it's about an alien that basically takes over people's identity. And so I really love that movie. Again, it's a perfect mixture of the science fiction and the horror. I also love the movie Alien. The original Alien is such a good movie. And there's obviously a lot of ones like that.
So which alien is the best?
Which alien's the best?
Yeah, it's a tricky question.
It is, because they're in different genres. They're not the same. They're not the same genre. It's like, when somebody asks you what's the best Fast and Furious movie, you're like, well, it doesn't matter because they're all the same movie, But Alien 1 is a really slow burn, kind of like it's a creepy home invasion style of movie, where it's like a cat and mouse. And then Alien 2 is a full-blown action movie. There's not really any horror in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And Alien 3 is a really bad movie, so we're not going to talk about it. It's not good at all. But so it's tough. But I really liked I would have to say Alien 1, because I feel like I'd get in trouble if I didn't say the first Alien. But I really liked Prometheus. Did you see that movie, Prometheus?
Yeah, that one was great too. Yeah,
I really liked that one. And gosh, what was that? The second one after that, Resurrection? I don't remember. But
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I love what they're doing with the new style of it. But one of the reasons why I love the new style, like I love the newer ones coming out, is because I get to see things that are inspiring. So when they come out with Prometheus and they show a new design of the spacecraft, like in my head, I'm looking at all of the chamfers, I'm looking at all the shapes, I'm looking at all the buttons and dials to kind of figure out like, wow, somebody took the time to meticulously say, hey, we're going to design a new spacecraft that's not from this world. So what would that look like? You know, and trying to use different geometry and things like that is always what I like. So anything new. And then the movie, I don't know if you guys saw this one. It came out in 2020 or 2021. It's called Underwater.
Yeah.
And it's basically a science fiction movie that's underwater. It's like in the Mariana Trench, which is the deepest area or the deepest part of the earth. And there's like, it's such a great movie. It was like, yeah, it was originally shot in 2016 and it wasn't released for like 4 years because they thought it would be bad. But everybody who watches that movie is like, dude, I have no clue why this movie isn't bigger. I really, really enjoyed it. So how about you guys? Do you have a favorite movie?
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. See?
Yeah.
Now you're in the hot seat, dude. It's a tough question.
It is. I actually don't even have a favorite genre, so
yeah, I get you.
That's pretty tough.
Yeah, for sure.
So
How about you, Maxi?
I'm kind of into Star Wars, of course, because I was in the 501st. I'm a little stormtrooper. And you know, Blade Runner had blown my mind. I seen everything. I was so into, and I love zombie movies. All of them, the old one, the new one, and I don't know. I'm very excited about Constantine, the second one.
Constantine. They're coming out with the second one.
Yes, there will be a second one, and this I think is the movie I'm really,
Dude, I remember, the first Constantine I didn't watch when it came out. I recently watched and I was like, wow, this is a really good movie. I was really surprised. Interesting. The Constantines, right on. I'll have to watch that one again and wait for the second one. That's awesome.
So guys, I think we missed some questions. So if you can just wrote them again. So I think we didn't get all the questions from you. So, but I remember one question. There was a question about Timescus add-ons for the Plexus.
Yeah. So, gosh, where's?
Yeah, Fifth Element is also a great movie.
It is. Fifth Element. That is such a fun movie because it's so weird. It's such a weird movie. Yes. Okay. So here's a good example. 1 second. With the Plexus, like we were talking earlier, sometimes it's really difficult to come out with colors that people like because every time people like to change, or if you do an all blue run, people are like, oh, I hate blue. And so you want to please everybody as much as possible. And so what I've come to realize is that the best way to do like higher end versions is to do additional kits. So I'd love to kind of just show what that looks like for this person. This is the Zeru Tie kit, and it is, it's full Zeru Tie on all components. So there's 6 different pieces that this knife has. Wow. And so we sell the Zeru Tie kits on our website, arcanedesign.co. And it's just really beneficial when people if they really enjoy the knife and they want to see it like further customize it, giving people the opportunity to do that and buy the kits is really cool. So this is my personal one with the Zeru Tie. And then we also are offering a polished zirconium.
Oh, that one is awesome. I've saw it on your Instagram.
Yeah, I just posted a video on it, or a photo on it, but you can't really pick it up, obviously, in this camera. But the polished Zeru Tie has actually been really popular, which is cool. And so it gives like a really interesting color splash without being too loud. It gives a nice contrast from the regular black or the regular gray because it captures light really well. So yeah, those are available on arcanedesign.co. But they are for additional purchase. It just makes sense to do that. And with those kits, you're getting 6 different pieces of zirconium and Zeru Tie. So,
and you can mix and match, isn't it? You can put the
I mean, you can absolutely do that if you want to. Like I said, each piece is screwed in on the outside or screwed in from the inside of the knife. And so you are able to remove, like this is the gold one. I'm disassembling one right now. This is like
yes, good to see.
And then all you do is just 1 second. It's hard to do with that, not on the video. But all you do is like place it in there and then screw it from the back. And so it gives you a full customization of the knife, which is really cool. Like we wanted, again, you can mix and match, put a really interesting centerpiece on it, or just change the clip, whatever you want to do for that day. But realizing it's really fun to give people the opportunity to fully customize things is cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I don't think there are any questions left or coming back. So I just forget to tell. Oh yes, can we do we always end with an EDC check. Can we do it with you together today?
For sure. Absolutely. Do you want me? Let's see. Do you want me to go? Or how do you want to do
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, cool. So what I just showed you is what I'm carrying these days right now. It's the satin blade, black handle, and the zirconium. I really, really am enjoying this combination. I know you guys have a number of the satin blade black handles. So if you're watching Knife Lounge on Wednesday, be there, be square. So I'm carrying this one, which is good.
Just this is something I haven't mentioned it today, but I think it's
right. And then I'm also carrying the space bar with zirconium. Sorry, Zeru Tie as well. And it has the Zeru Tie back as well. Carrying this, and then I did find the wallet prototype. This is in black.
Oh yes.
And this is how the cards kind of sit, which is cool.
Do you know how many cards will fit?
It'll fit 7 cards, and then it'll also come with a silicone band that you can carry paper currency or more cards, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
How it works is that you just push them up, and then you can filter through like which one you need, whatever the case is on that. So, again, I haven't showed anybody this, so don't tell anybody.
No, we don't tell.
I just wanted to show you because that's what I'm carrying. And then obviously my coin, Survive Space coin, which I love. I really, really do enjoy carrying this in my small pocket and with what I do. So yeah.
Awesome. And just before I forget it, what is that in the background from your left
this
side?
right here?
Yes.
That's a speaker. Yeah, it's a speaker. Let me gosh, I don't remember the name of the company. Gosh, I don't remember the name of the company, but it's a little robot. Which I think is so cool, dude. But it's a little robot, and it's a full Bluetooth speaker, and it has a subwoofer in the back.
Nice. That's awesome.
And it's like I needed a speaker for my studio, and so might as well like have it look cool, you know?
Yes, and it's red.
It's red too, my favorite color. So there you go. Nice.
Good. I will move on.
Yeah,
Felix.
I think I will take a while.
Just I have this.
Nice.
Just my pocket.
Nice. Is that the natural micarta?
It's natural, yeah.
Nice. Very cool.
And this is It is a little weirdo. How can I sing that? So
Yeah, that one's cute. Wait, what's the name of that one? That one's so cute.
it's a cricket.
It's the cricket.
Oh, nice. That one's awesome.
And that one is a very special one. This is Jesper Voxnay's custom. Do you know him?
Yeah, I've spoken with him a number of times. He's also a big fan of Alien as well.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think yes. And my notebook with a big idea design mini bold action.
Okay, that I just have to say that is a huge notebook. That is it completely full
it's a
or
small
no?
pen.
Dude, that's awesome.
That's
Nice.
what I think Felix needs a little bit space.
Time.
I'm
and
excited to
space.
see what Felix has. This is exciting.
So we already got the spacebar, the pen,
Nice.
and the coin. And then we got some Isham
Yeah.
designs. We got the
Beautiful. dude.
zeta. Then I have the Eschaton.
This
Yeah.
is crazy.
He's having to
And-
make room too. He's pushing them up all really close. That's
Yeah.
scary, dude.
And
Oh, the Pleroma.
the Pleroma.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And we got some more Isham designs somewhere.
No, he is on his shoe. He has
Oh
pockets on his
no, he's
shoe
pulling
as
them
well.
out of
yeah.
the boots, huh?
Yeah.
This is not good, dude.
Little Vestek.
Dude, yeah.
Oh, the stainless steel. Damascus.
It's cool.
So then we got
There can't be more.
Yeah,
we got
there's more.
Vestek Predator.
Yeah, dude. The Predator is a very cool design. I really like that one.
Then
And they fit all together.
we got a small fixed blade. Daily knives.
Felix,
HQ2.
I gotta know, what is your employee discount at the Knife Lounge? 'Cause I bet you're using that thing every other day, dude. This is insane.
Just
Then
he was a customer first, so actually he bought himself in.
yeah, I bought this.
Yeah, exactly. He bought himself his salary.
Then I got a little Protec.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, what Protec is that one? I don't know if I know.
I think it discontinued quite a while ago. I think it was the California Legal.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I haven't seen that one before.
And then we
And?
got
It's still an ad. Oh,
the PM2.
Nice, dude. Well, wait, I did
now
have a
we're
I did have a
to-
question on the fixed blade. How do you carry the fixed blade? Is it in a Kydex sheath or
Yeah.
do you do it leather or what?
Kydex sheath.
and
And how,
in his
how do you
shoes.
how do you fasten it to your? Is it on a belt or in your pocket or how do you do that?
It's in my boot.
Okay. Oh, it's a boot one. Oh, that
It's a
makes
boot knife.
Yeah, so it's one of.
Or I
his-
made it a boot knife. Let's
Cool,
say
dude.
it like this. And that's almost it. Then we only got the credit card knife from Bastinelli.
Oh, nice, dude. Those are really cool. That little chisel is really, really nice.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, man.
And that's it, I guess. I believe. Yeah, that's it.
Dude, so I got a question for you then. When it comes to like certain designers or makers that you like, when you know, I guess I know like we're doing this, you probably planned for this interview. So I know you were probably like, all right, I want to carry my Elijah Isham collection.
Yeah,
Right.
correct.
When you throughout the rest of your day, are you like, you know what? Or not the rest of your day, the rest of your week. Let's say tomorrow, you're like, I'm in a Protec mood, so I'm going to carry 7 Protec knives. Or is it just like, what do you collect? Do you carry in pairs, or how does that work?
I'm trying to get pairs fitting together. Like when I'm in a Protec move, I'm getting the Protecs together, but I'm trying to get the colors matching together too. So that's not always working. So I'm more into getting the colors and the materials right so they match than
Yeah,
getting
dude.
the brands together.
For sure. That makes sense, man. Very cool. That's a great collection, dude. That's a great collection. Wild.
I think it's my last question because it's just came on mind. Do you ever plan to visit Europe, or especially Germany?
Yeah.
Maybe for a knife show or something?
Yeah. So last year or 2 years ago, I went to the Paris Custom Knife Show.
Oh, really?
Which was a lot of fun. However, I shipped my knives to Paris from the United States like 3 weeks in advance, just so I could get them, not have any issues with importing or anything like that. And they didn't get there on time. So I didn't get, I spent all the money to go over there. My wife and I, we made a trip of it. So we spent time in Paris, south of France, Amsterdam, a couple of other places. And I really, really enjoyed visiting Europe, and Germany is definitely next on the list. Germany, Czech Republic is one that I'm really wanting to check out. I don't know. Are you guys familiar with Kombu Designs?
Yeah. We just talked about that. You guys should do a collaboration.
Yeah, I love his stuff, and he's such a great dude. So we've talked multiple times, and I'm a big fan of his. And so would definitely love to visit him and love to visit you guys. I hope so. I'm going to be going. I have a lot of travel just based off of like what we do for work. So I will see you in New York as well. And and I'll see both you all in Blade Show. And hopefully one of these years when I can figure out how to import knives or travel with them properly over in Europe, then I'll do the Paris Custom Knife Show and have to come to Germany. But hopefully this year or next year would be very, very cool.
This would be awesome. There's a knife show in Solingen once a year. It's called The Knife, and there are 200 exhibitors this year. Maybe that one could be the show for next year. And if you need any, I'm kind of experienced with importing knives from the USA.
Wait, is that one in Germany?
Let me know. I will help you, definitely.
Oh, thank you. Good. I'll ship them to you instead of me next time. So. Is that one in Germany?
Sorry?
Where is that knife show located? Is it
in Solingen? The knife center in Germany. Because some Americans say Solingen.
Solingen. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, Boca, the knife. Yeah. They come from the Solingen.
Really? Okay, that's very cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I would love to figure that out. What I found really interesting when I was walking around at the Paris Custom Knife Show, and it might just be a French thing, so I'd love to know what the knife community is into in Germany. But when I went over there, it was a lot of like more traditional friction folders and back locks and a lot of natural materials. They loved wood, and they loved like more polished silver plates and stuff on knives. So it was definitely a different style as opposed to I'm sure when you guys know, when you go to Atlanta, there's obviously more traditional for sure, but kind of the newer stuff is really interesting, like titanium and Magna Cut and M390 and frame lock flippers and, things like that. So, and button locks. What is it like really in Germany, or what you think your market caters towards?
Oh, I would say in Solingen we have half of the show is of local knife makers or European knife makers, and they usually work with traditional materials.
Right.
And but there are some shops as well, like us, and we have some more modern knives.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I don't think it's quite as modern at the Blade Show, but it's more modern than Paris.
Yeah,
I think so. I never been in Paris, but can imagine.
Yeah. It was like just maybe 3 companies that I really, really knew. Like I know that Microtech was there, and Liang Ma, which does titanium folders and stuff. But everything else is really beautiful work, really, handmade custom knife things and stuff. But I could tell everything was in traditional materials, and it sold really well. People loved it. So, I was just really interested to see if that's a European thing in general or more of a Parisian or French kind of style.
Yeah.
But
I think it's more because it's a traditional knife show. I think they are there for a couple of years. And in Solingen, they reopen the Soling Fair. And so there's a lot of space for new, to be more experimental. And I think there's space for everyone. And there's a lot of customers who love the modern stuff.
Yeah.
The younger ones and
Right.
and we have some great knife makers who are now more into titanium, and so it's good to see.
That's so exciting. Okay, I'll have to put it on my list. What time of the year is that one usually happen?
It's 11th and 12th of May, I guess, this year.
I think so too, yeah.
11th and 12th of May. Whoa.
Mid-May.
Right before Blade Show then.
Yeah.
Oh man. Maybe not this year, but if I can squeeze, I'd love to actually participate in something like that. I'll have to connect with you guys afterwards on that.
Yes.
That sounds really fun.
Can do it. That would be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I really, again, I feel very honored to join the live stream and be a part of what you guys are doing. And I'm grateful that you guys are my European connection so that we can put some interesting knives into your all's pockets over there. So.
Oh, of course. Thank you. I just got the chat. We have some German knife laws who are about you don't have any forbidden knives in your portfolio for the Soling Fair.
Oh, cool. Perfect. Yeah, I guess what are some like forbidden knives over
OTFs are strictly forbidden in Germany.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And automatics with the blade lengths must be under, I don't know,
8.5 centimeters is the limit for
I think
automatic
it's
knives.
3 inch.
3.5.
Got you. So like that ProTech that you're carrying, Felix, you would be able to just carry that around.
Yeah. Yes, and balisongs are strictly forbidden as well.
Yeah.
Dude, that one makes no sense. That one makes absolutely no sense. The balisong one. I mean, it's the same. It's the same in certain in certain states over here in the United States, and certain cities. But I recently just moved to Texas, and you can carry literally anything you want.
Yeah, no one cares what you get.
Yeah, nobody cares. So yeah, it's really interesting. But
and
really
same with gravity knives.
Yeah, it's good to know. Cool.
And there's the last one. Martin says, I have some videos seen from French shows and the same thoughts. Nice, but a bit boring.
Yeah. It was a very fun experience to go to and stuff. But when you come from like the giant size of like a Blade show or something like that, and again, the different styles, like obviously there's a time and place for the appreciation of the traditional way and traditional makes and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a really interesting show. So hopefully it gets bigger and I was really excited to be invited to go. So obviously they like more modern kind of things, but we'll see. I'd love to go back to Europe. It was a great time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, again, I really appreciate the invitation. Thank you.
Well, it's great having you.
Awesome.
So,
cool.
Bye-bye.
All right, we'll see you all later. Thank you.
Yeah. See you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Bye.
Tschüss, ihr Lieben.
Macht's gut.